Now, the last Snare Saturday video was on the Peavey Radial Pro 500, the most affordable option from the Peavey Radial Pro series. So then that got me thinking, how does it compare to the Peavey Radial Pro 1000, the most expensive snare drum in the series? Well, in this Snare Saturday video, we're gonna find out together. Yo, what's going on everybody? Nick Costa here, and in this video, we're gonna compare the Peavey Radial Pro 500 to the Peavey Radial Pro 1000. The Radial Pro drum series by Peavey are known for being the most resonant drums ever, and some say are the best sounding drums. They just have a really unique look to them. And like other drum companies, Peavey took the good, better, best model. Where the Radial Pro 500 was known for being the good, the Radial Pro 700-750 series was known as the better option, and then finally the Radial Pro 1000 being the best. So let's go ahead and compare the best to the most affordable and see which one best fits your needs. Now before we dive into this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well as the bell icon. That way you're notified of any additional content that I upload to the channel. Like I've mentioned in earlier Snare Saturday videos, the Peavey Radial Pro series was introduced in the mid-90s up until the early 2000s. And this radial bridge system allowed Peavey to design drums that didn't have extra hardware drilled into the shell. The thought behind it was, one, it makes the shell resonate as much as possible, and two, it removes the excess force that is caused with your traditional drum setup, where the tighter the drum is, the more force is put on the top and bottom of the shell, which causes it to bow inwards. This is why with cheaper drums, or if you decide you want to put a Kevlar head on your snare drum, if you make it too tight, you may notice that you're going to have those bearing edges collapse in on themselves. So let's go ahead and talk about the specs of each drum, starting with the Radial Pro 500. This is a 7x14 shell that is depth by diameter. And although Peavey identified this as a steel drum, only the center portion is made out of steel, and the radial bridge system on the top and the bottom are made out of a composite material, but that's also the bearing edge of the drum. This drum is equipped with triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom. Like I mentioned earlier, two independent radial bridge systems which are made out of a composite material and have 8 receiver tubes built in, so this is an 8-lug snare drum. This drum is equipped with what looks like a generic run-of-the-mill snare throw-off and a unique butt plate that is built into the bottom radial bridge system. An interesting component of this drum is that it doesn't have a traditional air grommet. Rather than joining the two ends of the steel portion of the shell, there is a small gap in between them which acts as an air vent. There is then a metal bracket that is inserted inside of it. That way there is something for the throw-off to be mounted to. Finally, this drum is outfitted with my preferred heads of choice, which is a Remo Ambassador X coated on the top and an Ambassador snare side on the bottom. Last but not least, the snare wires on this drum are a set of World Max German wires. This is the 16-strand model. Now let's go ahead and talk about the specs of the Peavey Radial Pro 1000 snare drum. From what I am reading online, this is a 5.5x14 shell. Once again, that's depth by diameter. And what originally was a solid piece of maple eventually transitioned to be a block maple construction, which is exactly what this drum is. Now, this drum is an 8-lug drum, so that radial bridge system in the middle has 8 receiver tubes on the top and 8 receiver tubes on the bottom. It is outfitted with triple flange hoops on the top and the bottom, but unlike the Radial Pro 500, these are a chrome finish. Finally, this drum has a unique snare wire build where it has 2 snare throw-offs on either side of the drum. Last but not least, this drum is also outfitted with my preferred heads of choice. Once again, a Remo Ambassador X coated on the top and an Ambassador snare side on the bottom. And this drum is outfitted with the generic snare wires that came with the drum when I bought it. In this video, I am going to play both drums back to back through 3 different tunings: a low tuning, a medium tuning, and a high tuning. This isn't going to be a blind test, however, so you're going to be able to see and hear all of the drums straight out the gate through those 3 different tunings. So enough of me talking, let's dive in. there you have it, the most affordable Radial Pro snare drum compared to the most expensive Radial Pro snare drum. I would love to get your feedback and what you thought of each drum, maybe which drum was your preferred one, and which tuning you like the most. So make sure that you leave all of that in the comment section below. If you have any other additional questions on either drum, maybe how I was tuning the drums, or any of the gear that I am playing in this video, feel free to leave that in the comment section as well, and I will try my best to answer them. If you would like to check out the earlier Snare Saturday videos where I showcase each drum individually through a few more tunings, I've put links to those videos in the description below. And if you'd like to check out any video from the Snare Saturday series, I've put a link to the playlist in the description below, and I'll also have it come up right here to make it a bit easier for you. Finally, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you give it a thumbs up. This not only helps the video be easier to find for others, it is an easy and free way to support the channel. If you would like other ways to support the channel, you can check out the affiliate links in the description below, or you can become a member of the channel where you get perks like custom emojis specific to this channel, early access to videos before the general public, as well as access to members only live streams and Q&As, and even an opportunity to get a monthly virtual drum lesson with me. And that is it. Thank you so much for checking out this video on comparing the Peavey Radial Pro 500 to the Peavey Radial Pro 1000. And until next time, see you later.